Good day! Today, I will be showing the different types of plate boundaries. To show this concept effectively, we will simulate it in a smaller scale by using two cardboards and some soil. Plate boundaries are technically the edges at which the plates meet. There are three types of plate boundary. These are divergent, convergent, and transform. They only differ in the direction of their movements and the geological features that are formed once they interact. For you to understand more of their differences, I will now show you the differences through this experiment. In this simulation, we need to be aware that the soil that will be used represents the lithosphere. The two cardboards represents the asthenosphere, and the gap between them represents the plate boundaries. The first type of plate boundary that I will show you is a divergent plate boundary. First, let's put the two cardboard on the table right next to each other without any space or gap in between. Second, pour enough amount of soil into the area at which the cardboards meet. Next, pull away the two cardboards from one another, creating a noticeable gap between the cardboards. What can we observe? From the activity, we can observe that when the two cardboards were pulled away from each other, it created a gap between the two plates. In divergent plate boundary, two tectonic plates are moving away from each other, and this gap is called the rift valley. And this soil with peak is the underwater mountain ranges. When the plates did this, it allows the magma from the mantle to go up and will eventually solidify, generating a new oceanic crust. The next type of plate boundary that I will show is a convergent plate boundary. To effectively perform this activity, let's just repeat the first two steps that we have performed in the previous simulation. The difference is that, instead of pulling apart, we will make the two cardboards collide, until that the area at which the two cardboards meet was elevated. While holding still, what can we observe? We can observe that as the two cardboards collide, it is slowly forming a mountain-like structure. Well, it's actually a mountain. In convergent plate boundary, two tectonic plates collide. The collision can be between two oceanic crusts, two continental crusts, or can also be between an oceanic and continental crust. The one I showed you is a convergent boundary between two continental crusts, or continental-continental convergent boundary, that resulted to the formation of mountain ranges. Oceanic-oceanic and oceanic-continental convergent boundaries are quite hard to simulate, but I'll still explain what happens in such boundaries. In oceanic-oceanic and oceanic-continental boundaries, one of the plates will be subducted or pushed under the other, and then mixes with the overlying mantle that will lead to the creation of volcanoes. We need to take note that in this process, the lithosphere or some of its parts are destroyed. The third and last type of plate boundary is a transform plate boundary. For the third time, to effectively perform the simulation, we just need to repeat the steps that we used to follow from the previous simulations. Here, instead of pulling away or colliding, we will make the sheets pass each other horizontally instead. Based on the outcome, what can you observe? We can observe that as the two cardboards pass each other, the soil above it has been destroyed or somehow created cracks. In transform plate boundaries, tectonic plates slide past each other horizontally, and this movement isn't smooth but rather rapid and destructive. In this type of boundary, earthquakes ranging from the highest intensity to the lowest can be generated. So those are the differences between the three types of plate boundaries. For a quick summary, the three types of plate boundaries are divergent, convergent, and transform. In divergent, plates are moving away from each other. In convergent, the opposite happens, at which the plates are moving toward each other. And in transform, the plates are sliding past each other horizontally. So that's all. Hope you have a good day. Goodbye.